and welcome to part 3 of the Twilight Community Groups Communicating the EU. So far we've looked at the EU and Ireland of yesterday, the EU and Ireland of today, and this edition we're going to be looking at the EU and the Ireland of tomorrow. The most important people who are involved in the EU of tomorrow will be our youth. But even if you think of it, many of this generation do not even remember when we joined in 1973. In 2021, we were approached by a local school and a student to take part in the transition year programme. This student came on board, and one of his tasks was to help us develop a Twilight Youth Inclusion Group. He also has a keen interest in politics, and so here is his story.
Hello, my name is Mikolaj. I'm a 17-year-old student from Poland, originally from Poland. I live in Ireland. This is my 14th year now, and it's a pleasure to be here. Well, definitely it has to change. The whole system of getting young people involved in politics has to change drastically, because at the moment, which is very sad, young people see politics as something boring, as something useless, as something irrelevant to them. But really, if we analyse it and think about it, politics is the present, but it's also the future. And as we know, our youth is our future. So, okay, maybe the politics that's happening now mightn't be perfect for them, but they are the ones that are going to change it. And they are the ones that have the ability and have the strong points in them to change it. They have the motivations, but we just need to change the system to get that motivation out of them.
Another issue that we must view here in Ireland is the plight of people who may come to Ireland from Asian countries. These are people who come with full qualifications, but they're not recognised here. And also family members who are trying to gain Irish citizenship. In this interview, here is the true story of one such person.
I came to Ireland in 2016 for my studies, masters actually, and I got married in 2018 actually. My wife is a doctor and she is a registered consultant back in India. She's an eye surgeon, ophthalmologist. When I came to Ireland, it was easy for me to start a job because I'm an engineer, but my wife, she's a doctor, and it's not an easy process, it's a tedious one. So she needs to go through a lot of examinations and etc. But she's on the way actually. But even after that, she can work as a general practitioner, but not as a consultant. That will take another 6 or 7 years. So this is somewhat tough, and this is the case in European Union as well. So another thing, very important stuff, is actually traveling. So all over Europe, they have Schengen visa, whereas Ireland has a separate visa. It's not even good for tourism as well, because tourists actually need to take a separate visa to visit Ireland if they come to Europe from Asia or from anywhere. We have a 2-year-old baby, and he born in 2020 in the middle of pandemic. And he didn't get a Irish citizenship, even he born in Ireland though, but because there was a rule saying like I need to work continuously 3 years so that he can get a citizenship. But it was actually 2 weeks away for that 3 year. So he got Indian passport instead. That's not a funny part, but other one is actually he can't get a citizenship until I get it. And there's another thing, there's another rule, which is like, I'm here for about 6.5 years now, but the last year, it's actually 5 years to get citizenship in Ireland. The last year, the 365 days should be continuously, I need to reside in the state to get it. Because of family emergency, I visited India for 4 days or something, and that 365 days dissolved. I started it again. I'm in that 365 days now. So a lot of rules like this, and it's fine, but it's sometimes tedious actually, and tough to overcome these issues. I missed this one, this 365 days. My son will get citizenship before me, actually. But I came to Ireland 6 years back.
Throughout these programmes, we've been talking to Sean Butler, former Labour activist here in Kilkenny. Sean, in fact, was one of the youngest people ever to run for an MEP at the tender age of 26. Here is Sean's view on what the European Union should be in the future.
I got involved in the early 90s where there was bandwidth for young people. We weren't facing into, crisis of housing. So you had the time to stop, to think, to, maybe drink that pint, have that political discussion. Unfortunately now, I think a lot of young people are so focused on get a good college career, get a job, buy a house before house prices go crazy, that we don't stop and look. And it's a huge disadvantage for young people. And I'm not a young person anymore, but I think young people should get involved in politics because it stops and makes you question what is going on around you. Like, we have a housing crisis. We have a housing crisis because of political decisions that were taken to go on a certain model. And the old argument in the late 90s was it Boston or Berlin? Well, we chose Boston.
Right.
And now we live with the consequences of poor state regulation, low taxes, low inspections. If we had chosen Berlin, I think we'd have had it different. We lost that political debate. So if you keep ignoring politics and we keep going on the Boston model, young people are worse off.
Sean's full interview will be available after these programmes. And so we come to the end of this project. A project where we looked at the EU and Ireland of yesterday, covering all the aspects of the referendum, but also the issues we had in Ireland. One which was a plight that would carry on till we made the Good Friday Agreement, where in 1972, 479 people lost their lives in Northern Ireland. In the second programme, we looked at the EU and Ireland today, where we spoke to people about the Erasmus Plus programme and the benefits that the EU has brought here to Ireland. In part 3, we looked at the EU and Ireland of tomorrow, where we had our views from the youth and from people who are coming to live in Ireland, and from Sean Butler and his views on what the EU will be in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, to finish up, we're going to revert back to the first video we showed you in these series, and that is Minister Simon Coveney talking to you about the EU50 celebration of Ireland becoming a full member of the European Economic Committee. We look forward to talking to you again very soon. Slán leat, agus guramagat.
Today, the 22nd of January 2022, we mark a historic anniversary. It's 50 years since an Taoiseach Jack Lynch and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Patrick Hillery, signed the Treaty of Accession for Ireland to join the European communities. This and the overwhelming approval of our accession by the people of Ireland in the subsequent referendum paved the way for our full membership of the EU to begin on the 1st of January 1973. Over the past 50 years, EU membership has transformed this country. Ireland today is a valued friend and trusted partner at the heart of the EU, helping to shape European policy making which impacts our day-to-day lives, and using our global voice within the EU to project our values. All of us, particularly our younger generation, have the opportunity to travel, live, study, do business and work freely across the EU. So too do our fellow EU citizens, and we warmly welcome those who have made Ireland their home. And we do not forget also the pivotal role played by our European partners in supporting and fostering peace on this island.
To mark this important anniversary, over the next 18 months, we will see a number of events and initiatives designed to observe significant milestones on the road to our membership and into the early period of our membership. This will be an opportunity for reflection, celebration, debate and exchange on what EU membership has meant for Ireland and how we can contribute to a strong and shared future European Union. We hope that all of you can feel part of this and contribute, whether through civic society, or young people, industry, academia, cultural institutions or otherwise. And that we can also celebrate the anniversary with our EU and global partners, including our great friends in Denmark, who also mark 50 years of membership. Táimid ag slú go mór leis an ócáid stairiúil seo a cheiliúir libh. Gur maith agaibh.